Hello, Mario here.
Okay, so now that we have our hierarchy built, and we now have some deformers, we're going to start modifying some of the artwork to look proper. So looking at the deformer, okay, so we have an issue right up there. So what I'm going to do is raise that deformer up a bit. And then also bring this one down a bit. So it's back to the way it was, it's just now I've raised that pivot point. Let's give that a try now. That's better. Okay, so that takes care of that part. It's not perfect, but it's better. The next one will be a little trickier. Let's do the foot. Now when I rotate the foot, okay, we're getting this kind of action. Now first, what we should do is put the foot in front of the ankle. That will help some of it. So let's go to our node view and hit O, and that'll take us to our foot. Now there's the leg where the ankle is attached, and you could see that the foot is behind the ankle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take the foot and just push it over. So now it's in front of the leg. So there's the leg. And I'm going to, there's the foot. There. So now the foot's in front of the ankle. And I'm going to do the same on this one as well. So you could rearrange these if you really want it to look good. There you go. So now it's all nice and lined up. So if I look now, the ankle is inside the foot. So that helps us a bit. We can also change that pivot point. So again, I'm going to go to the drawing layer, grab the pivot tool, and move it up a bit. Let's try this. Again, I'm doing all of this with the animation button off. Okay, that's better. Let's move it just a bit higher. That's better. Okay, still can see some of the artwork, so let's fix some of the artwork. Let's say you want to do this type of move. So that'll be the limit. Let's say you want to do that type of move. It's a little extreme, but still, you don't want to see that even in that simple a move. So to fix that, I'm going to bypass this deformer so I can modify the artwork. Okay, so the deformer is no longer being used. Okay, so I just disconnected that temporarily. And there we could see our problem again. So now I'll go on the leg layer. And pull some of this down. Okay, now just like before, I'm going to have to modify the color layer as well. There. Now we could still modify it a bit if we're not completely happy with it. Here we go. So now if I go back to my transform tool on the foot, it'll look a little bit better. Now that it's fixed, we go back to our node view, connect the leg peg to the deformer, deformer back to the leg, and the kinematic output back to the foot. And it all behaves again as a deformer. So let's do the same with the right leg. So we can already see, even in the regular pose, that we have to fix that artwork. So let's disable let's disable the deformer again. So I'm going to select the foot, go to my node view, hit O, takes me to the foot. There's my kinematic output, there's my deformer. Unplug the leg, plug it into the leg drawing. Plug the leg peg into the foot peg. Here we go. Back to my drawing. Use the contour tool. Go to the leg. And let's fix this up. Now I like to get rid of these lines. And I like to simplify them as well. If I find that there's too many lines, I start to delete some of them. There we go. And again, we got to fix the color layer. Okay, so let's try out the foot. Okay, the pivot point is still off, so let's fix the pivot point. We're going to move it a little higher. Sometimes we have to use this tool to adjust it. Not bad. There's going to be some limitations to this character, but it'll work. If we find we're not happy with those limitations, that's not bad. If we find there's limitations to those, we can always come back and modify the drawings a bit more. But there we go, it's working again. So let's reattach our deformer. Kinematic output to the foot, peg, leg peg to the deformer, and deformer to the leg. turn on the deformer and give it a test. Okay, you could choose to fix up the pants a little bit, but you get the idea. So there we go. Every drawing layer has a peg. The pivot point is passed over to the peg. You can't animate on the drawing layer. We created a hierarchy. Then we added deformers. And then we modified the drawings where we weren't happy with them. And that's a fully functional rig. Now our last feature that we can cover as an option is if we look at this right hand, click down here and hit O, takes me to the hand. We're looking at hand number 1. That's hand drawing number 1, which includes that radio. Now let's say you want the same hand, but without the radio. Let's make a version 2 of this drawing, and then we'll remove that stereo. So I'm on the drawing layer of the hand. I'm going to duplicate the current drawing to drawing number 2, and you're going to see this number 1 change to number 2 as I duplicate it. Okay. And with the select tool, I'm going to start cutting away this stereo. Now remember, we have to cut away the line first, and then the artwork after, or the coloring after. So I'm on the color layer right now, cutting away the color. Now on the line layer, same thing. There you go. Now we should go in and fix that line there. Tricky to do. And I'm going to just clean up the art layer a little bit too. There we go. So now we have the option of hand number 2 without the stereo, or hand number 1 with the stereo. So this duplicates the current drawing and then you modify it. This creates a whole empty drawing that you can draw whatever you want. I always like to duplicate and then modify. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to post them to me. Have fun.